Hi, it is Sarah with Yoga for Classrooms, and we are back to share more of our favorite things. Today, we are going to be sharing some of our favorite children's literature books. And let me tell you, this one was tough because I love so many children's literature books. And in fact, we're probably going to have to do a part two, part three, maybe even a part four of our favorite children's literature books because it was just so hard to pick just a few. But I'm really excited about the ones I'm going to share with you today. And one of the great things about the books I chose to share with you today as some of our favorites are that they tie really, really nicely to our Yoga for Classrooms activity card. So if you're already implementing Yoga for Classrooms in your school or classroom, you're going to want to check out these books because they're really great companions to the work you're already doing. So it's a great way to just dig a little bit deeper, add a little bit more resources and more support to already what you're doing that is so fantastic. So it just adds an extra little element. The first two I want to share with you are affirmation books. And if you already checked out our first favorite things videos where we shared our favorite resources, then you know I love affirmations. I shared with you some of the affirmation cards that I use with all ages. Well, these affirmation books I use similarly, but they're great to have around. So the first one I wanted to share with you is this one called I Think I Am. And it is truly just a book of affirmations. And it teaches kids of the power of affirmations. So it does explain not only some affirmations, but how they can be used, which is one of my favorite things about this. So as you go through the book, it'll say, when you're feeling a certain way, here's some affirmations you could use. So really, really powerful to help our young people understand how affirmations can be so powerful. So this might be a great book to use to introduce affirmations. And then you can use the affirmation cards I mentioned or your own made up affirmations. One thing I love about affirmations is giving students voice and letting them write their own for themselves, their own as a class, and even their own for other people. So this book, can't recommend it enough to help teach kids how to utilize affirmations. I just love it, love it, love it. It's by Louise L. Hay, and it's just fantastic. I Think I Am. Check it out. Another affirmations book that I love, it has been around for quite some time, and you can see mine's a little torn on the edges because I've used it so much. But this is just a book of affirmations. So I often would have this one sitting around and we would just flip to one and use it kind of the same way you would use affirmation cards. Read it, share it with the class, share it with the group you're working with or the individual you're working with, and let them reflect on what it means to them. One thing I really love about this one, I Believe in Me, a book of affirmations, is the pictures are stunning. So let me show you an example of one. So this one, it says, I am wonderfully creative. And then this is the image that goes along with it. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. It's just really, really pretty. So a great activity you can do with this book is read it or read some of them and then have students create their own image that goes with the affirmation, because this book really gets them thinking creatively about a picture that might go with it. So like this one says, I am free to be me. And this is the image. It's just so creative, so pretty. And oh, I just love it. It's gorgeous. So I Believe in Me, a book of affirmations written and illustrated by Connie Bowen. Another really great one. And I'll be sure and list all of these below so that you can check them out. All right, a couple more of my favorites. This one, Incredible You by Dr. Wayne Dyer, is fantastic. It's 10 ways to let your greatness shine through. He has a couple of others that are similar as well. This one is really neat because it has 10 ways to let your greatness shine through, but they're broken up. And so it'll be like, number 1, share the good. Number 2, find what you love. Number 3, you are filled with love. And you can see it goes on and on. So I even used this as a way to supplement some small groups that I ran, where each one was the theme of our small group. So you can really use this book in a lot of different ways, or if you're a classroom teacher, You could do one of the ways a week. So like on a Monday, you could introduce it and then talk about what it means to them, do other activities that go along with it. And it could last 10 weeks. So of course, you don't have to do it like that. You can just read it all through, but I think it's kind of neat to really dive deeper into each of them, and just a neat way to kind of expand upon the book. Really great book, Incredible You, Dr. Wayne Dyer. Love it. And like I said, he has a couple of others that are written the same way. So if you like that idea, you can get the others, and all of a sudden you've made it through your school year. So, all right, one more that I want to share, On's Anger. I always taught this when I taught some of our breathing techniques that we use in yoga for classrooms, because I used this book to talk about when we feel angry, how our breathing and our mindfulness can help. And that's really what the book walks you through as well. So it really just goes together really nicely, kind of teaches that idea of using these tools when we have big emotions in a book. And so it just really, again, goes nicely with everything else you're already teaching when you're teaching yoga from classrooms and yoga and mindfulness in our schools. So On's Anger, great book. Another one with really neat pictures. I've always found that students are really engaged with this one. It's just really well written, and I highly recommend it. On's Anger, great way to teach anger, great way to teach of the importance of mindfulness and our breathing techniques and all those other tools we have when we start to feel those big emotions. Okay. Oh, and one other thing I love about On's Anger is it teaches that anger is not bad, but that we want tools to help manage it, which I think is so important. All right, and last but certainly not least are two books that I use that are about peace. So this one, I Am Peace, and this is a book of mindfulness. Really great. One of the books that Peter H. Reynolds illustrated, which he's just phenomenal. Everything he does is amazing. And I love this one, particularly because it's all about mindfulness. And with the title, I Am Peace, I often would connect it to this book called A Little Peace. And this is a National Geographic book with real photographs. So this one's great for older students. I found they really like the different photographs, and it's just a neat way to introduce them to a different type of imagery. So I always combined those two together, and then we did some of our different peace activities. So in Yoga for Classrooms, we have our peace breath, we have our peace walk, we have several different cards that connect to peace. So I always taught a peace lesson or did a peace week and implemented some of these different things. So again, I Am Peace, a really basic book, but can really be used in so many different ways. And students of all ages really enjoy it. And then A Little Peace. And this again is that National Geographic book. And you can see, let me see if I can show you. It walks through finding peace in all places. And then it has pictures from photographs from all over the world. So really, really beautiful pictures. And we always had great conversations about where the photos were taken and what was happening in the lives of the people in the photos. Of course, using our imagination, but it really allowed students to also reflect on empathy, because the pictures are taken from people all over the world. And so what it might be like to find peace in their country or their home or their world. And so really neat conversations can come from that as well. All right, those were a few of my first favorites. Like I said, we'll definitely do a part 2 of our favorite things, children's literature edition, because there are so many great books out there. But I hope you find those helpful. Again, I'll link and list all of the books I included in here below, so be sure and check it out. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.